Ethan lived in a small, quiet town, the kind of place where everyone knew each other. Life moved slowly, with mornings full of school buses, afternoons of homework, and evenings spent under the soft glow of streetlights. Most nights he would sit by his bedroom window, gazing at the stars. He loved looking up at the vast sky, wondering if anyone else somewhere out there was staring back at him. On one particularly quiet night, the world seemed extra still. The wind whispered through the trees, carrying the faint smell of rain from earlier in the evening. Ethan had just finished his homework and was sipping hot cocoa when he noticed a strange light flickering outside his window. It was bright and pure, almost like a star had fallen to earth. Curiosity pulled him toward the door. The light grew stronger as he opened it. At first he could not believe his eyes. There, standing on his porch, was a figure unlike anything he had ever seen. She was tall and elegant, with skin that shimmered faintly in soft blues and purples. Her eyes glowed gently like twin moons, and her hair flowed like liquid silver. She wore a long, flowing robe that seemed alive, shifting colors as if reflecting the night sky. Ethan stumbled backward in surprise. "Who are you?" he asked, his voice trembling slightly. The figure bowed her head politely.
"I am Princess Lyra," she said in a voice that sounded like music, soft but firm.
"I come from a distant world far beyond your stars. I need your help, human." Ethan blinked. He thought for a moment that he must be dreaming. Alien?" he asked. "Yes," Lyra replied, stepping forward. Her glow illuminated the porch and the yard in a gentle, comforting light. "But I mean you no harm. My people are suffering, and only your kind can help us." Ethan's heart pounded. This was impossible. Aliens didn't come knocking on doors. And yet here she was, standing calmly as if expecting him to believe every word. "Why me?" he asked, trying to steady his voice. "Why humans?" Lyra's expression softened. "Humans have something unique," she said. "A warmth. A spirit that flows through your bodies. My people's world is dying because we have lost our own warmth. Your kind carries it naturally. I need someone like you to help us restore it." Ethan's mind spun. He had always felt small, ordinary, but here was a being from another world, telling him that he could make a difference. Fear and excitement battled inside him. "Restore your world? What can I do?" he stammered. Lyra took a step closer. "It is not just about power. It is about empathy, courage, and heart. You have all of these, human. That is why I am here. You can help us survive." Ethan looked around his quiet street, the familiar houses and lawns suddenly seeming very small compared to the universe beyond. He thought about all the nights he had stared at the stars, wondering if life existed elsewhere. Now the answer was here, standing on his doorstep. "Okay," he said finally after a long pause. "I'll help. But on how?" Lyra smiled faintly. "First, you must trust me." She extended her hand. Her touch was warm, comforting, almost like a gentle sunbeam on a cold morning. Ethan felt a strange sense of calm wash over him. The fear he had felt moments ago melted slightly, replaced by determination. He took her hand, and the moment he did, a soft pulse of energy passed through him. It was not painful, only strange and thrilling, like a new kind of electricity. "Wow," he whispered. Lyra nodded. "That is the beginning. Soon you will see how your warmth can heal a world. But we must leave quickly. Time is short." Before Ethan could ask another question, the ground beneath the porch began to shimmer. Lyra raised her hand, and in an instant the light around them expanded, wrapping them both in a gentle glow. Suddenly the familiar world of his town disappeared, replaced by a sensation of weightlessness, as if they were floating among the stars. Ethan gasped. We're flying?" Lyra laughed softly, a sound like tinkling bells. "Not flying, human, traveling. My ship exists outside your normal dimensions. You will see the stars in ways you cannot imagine." The sensation was incredible. Colors swirled around him, lights danced like ribbons, and the stars seemed close enough to touch. Ethan felt exhilaration and fear at the same time. He clutched Lyra's hand, realizing that no matter how strange this was, he trusted her. Somehow he knew that the universe had chosen him for something important. As they traveled, Lyra explained her people's plight. "Our world is called Alindra," she said. "For centuries we thrived under the warmth of our sun and the energy of our core. But a great cosmic illness has begun to drain the life from our planet. The energy that sustains us is disappearing. Only beings like humans with the warmth of heart and body can help restore what we have lost." Ethan listened intently. He tried to imagine a world where the people were fading, where the trees and oceans and skies lost their life. It was frightening. But he also felt a spark of pride. He had been chosen to make a difference. Will it hurt? He asked cautiously. Lyra shook her head. Not if you are brave and willing. Your warmth will not harm you, and it can bring life back to my people. But it requires effort, and you must understand what it means to care beyond yourself. Ethan nodded. He felt small and ordinary, but he also felt strong. For the first time, he realized that humans might be more extraordinary than he had ever believed. Hours passed, or maybe minutes. Time felt strange in this place between stars. Eventually, Lyra's ship began to descend, approaching a glowing planet in the distance. It shimmered in colors Ethan had never seen on Earth. Vivid purples, deep blues, and silver that sparkled like ice under the sun. But there was also a dullness, a shadow over the land, as if the world itself were exhausted. That is Elindra, Lyra said softly. You will see how much it suffers. But do not be afraid. Even small acts of warmth can ignite hope here. Ethan stared at the planet, feeling both awe and responsibility. He had always wondered if humans mattered in the vastness of space. Now he knew the answer. They did, somehow, in ways no one on Earth had imagined. His existence and the simple warmth of being human could save an entire world. Lyra's voice broke his thoughts. When we arrive, you will meet my people. Some will be frightened and some will doubt you. Do not waver. Show them kindness, courage, and patience. That is your power. Ethan nodded, swallowing his nervousness. I'll do my best. Lyra's smile was gentle, almost sad. That is all I ask, human. That is all anyone can ask. As the ship approached Elindra's surface, the air shimmered and sparkled with strange colors. Ethan could see cities built with tall crystalline structures glowing faintly, and forests with trees that seemed to hum softly. But there was also a shadow over it all. Patches of the planet's surface looked dull, lifeless, and cold. This is why I needed you, Lyra said quietly. Without humans, our warmth cannot return. You are more important than you realize. Ethan felt a mixture of fear, pride, and wonder. His ordinary life on Earth had ended tonight. Ahead lay challenges, adventures, and unknown dangers. But for the first time, he felt a sense of purpose that went beyond himself. He was no longer just a boy in a small town. He was a human whose courage and warmth could change the fate of a world. As the ship touched down, the doors opened, revealing Elindra's alien landscape up close. Ethan took a deep breath and stepped forward. The adventure was only beginning, and he knew that the choices he made now would ripple across an entire galaxy. He looked at Lyra. Let's save your world, he said. Lyra's eyes glowed brighter for a moment, and she nodded. Together, human. Together. The stars above twinkled as if cheering them on. And for the first time, Ethan felt that the universe was wide, strange, and full of possibilities, and that humanity had a place among them. Ethan's first steps on Elindra left him breathless. The air was lighter than Earth's, tinged with colors he could barely describe. The ground beneath his feet shimmered faintly like crystal dust catching the light. The trees were tall, with silver leaves that whispered as if speaking in a language he could almost understand. Even the rivers glowed softly, reflecting the twin moons above. But despite its beauty, there was a sadness in the land. The plants grew thin in places, and the wind carried a faint chill, unlike the vibrant warmth Lyra's people once enjoyed. Lyra walked beside him, her glow illuminating the path. This is our land, she said quietly. It should be full of life, but the illness has spread too far. Every day we lose more energy, more color, more warmth. That is why you are here, Ethan. Your presence alone can help. Ethan swallowed, trying to steady himself. I don't know if I'm ready for this, he admitted. It's so different from anything I've ever seen. And I'm just me. Lyra looked at him with her glowing eyes. You are enough. You carry a light that is rare in the universe. Humans are unique in ways even we cannot fully understand. That is why we need you. Their conversation was interrupted by a sudden rustling in the nearby forest. Ethan froze, expecting some strange creature to appear. But instead, several beings emerged. Tall, thin, with translucent skin that shimmered like glass. They wore simple garments and looked cautious, almost fearful. These were Elindra's citizens, the first Ethan had seen up close. Princess Lyra, one of them said in a soft, musical voice. You have returned. But who is this human? Lyra stepped forward and placed a hand gently on Ethan's shoulder. This is Ethan, she said. He has come to help us. His warmth can heal our world. The Elindrans looked at Ethan with a mix of curiosity and doubt. Some whispered to each other, clearly unsure about a human stepping into their world. Ethan felt nervous under their gaze. He had never imagined himself as a hero or a savior, and now it seemed the weight of an entire planet rested on him. Sensing his unease, Lyra spoke again. Do not fear them. Show them kindness and they will understand. Your actions, not your words, will make the difference. Over the next hours, Ethan walked among the Elindrans, learning about their lives. Many of them were weak, moving slowly as if even the smallest task required great effort. The once bright cities were dim, and even the normally radiant rivers seemed dull. Ethan could feel the sorrow and fear in the air. It made him want to help even more. Lyra explained how the illness spread. It began in the heart of our world, she said. Something disrupted the energy of the planet's core, and slowly it drained the life from everything above. Our people have tried to survive, but without warmth, our strength fades. Ethan listened, thinking about Earth and the warmth of simple things, the sun on his skin, a friend's smile, the comfort of a hug. He realized that humans had something Elindra had lost. Not just heat or light, but emotional warmth, hope, compassion, courage, love. Somehow that intangible energy was the key to saving this alien world. Lyra led him to a large chamber in the center of the city, a place glowing faintly with leftover energy from better times. Here, she said, we will begin the process. But first you must travel with me. I want you to see the galaxy, to understand the dangers and the wonders. Only then will you realize the strength you carry. Before Ethan could respond, Lyra summoned a small glowing craft. It hovered silently in the air, shaped like a tear of crystal with soft lights along its edges. This is our ship, she said. It moves faster than your mind can imagine, and it can travel across dimensions. You will see worlds unlike your own, and you will learn that humanity's warmth can reach even the farthest stars. Ethan stepped inside, his heart pounding. He had never left Earth before. The thought of traveling through unknown worlds was both thrilling and terrifying. As the ship lifted into the sky, Lyra explained what lay ahead. We will visit planets in need, some alive, some fading like mine. You will witness danger, but also beauty. You will meet creatures who will not understand humans at first, and you will have to show them kindness, bravery, and intelligence. That is the true power of your species. The first planet they visited was a world covered in oceans of liquid crystal. Strange jellyfish-like creatures floated in the air, moving with grace and curiosity. Ethan watched as Lyra communicated with them using light and sound. He realized that her people had once been able to do the same on Elindra, but now their energy was too weak. Suddenly, a shadow fell across the crystal waters. A massive ship, dark and angular, appeared, cutting through the sky like a predator. Ethan's heart leapt. Who is that? He whispered. Pirates, Lyra said grimly. Factions from other worlds who sense weakness in ours. They seek to capture us and use our resources. We must be careful. Ethan's hands clenched. Fear rose inside him, but he also felt determination. We can stop them, right? He asked. Lyra nodded. With your help, we can outsmart them. Humans have a cleverness my people have rarely seen. Using the ship's advanced systems, Ethan and Lyra worked together to navigate the pirates. Ethan noticed how humans could think outside patterns, improvise quickly, and adapt in ways even alien technology could not anticipate. He suggested maneuvers, and Lyra executed them flawlessly. Within minutes, they had evaded the dangerous ship and continued their journey. Ethan realized something important. It was not just warmth that humans carried, but creativity, courage, and quick thinking. These qualities, combined with Lyra's knowledge, made them a powerful team. He began to feel pride, knowing that his ordinary life on Earth had prepared him in some small way for this moment. Over the next several days, they visited planets that were diverse and strange. One world had forests of floating plants, where the wind carried seeds that glowed like fireflies. Another planet had cities built entirely underground, where creatures sensitive to light thrived in darkness. On each world, Ethan saw suffering and resilience. He shared his warmth in gestures, words, and actions. And slowly, he began to understand how humans could bring hope and life even to distant places. But not all encounters were easy. On a desert planet, rival factions tried to trap them. believing humans were dangerous. Ethan had to act quickly, using human ingenuity and calm thinking to avoid capture. He created distractions, rerouted energy flows, and found safe paths through the alien terrain. Lyra watched him closely, clearly impressed. "You are remarkable," she said as they escaped. "Not just your warmth, but your mind. Humans are truly extraordinary." Ethan felt a thrill of pride, but he also knew the journey was just beginning. "I'm learning," he said, "but I still don't know if it will be enough for your people." Lyra placed a hand on his shoulder. "You will see, Ethan, it will be enough. Humans are capable of more than they know. You must trust yourself as I trust you." As they continued traveling, Ethan began to feel a new sense of connection, not only to Lyra, but to all the worlds they visited. He realized that warmth was more than heat or energy. It was hope, courage, and care. With each act of kindness, each moment of bravery, the universe seemed to respond. At night, when the ship hovered among the stars, Ethan would look out at the endless expanse and think of Earth, of his small town and the life he had left behind. But he no longer felt small. He felt like a bridge between worlds, carrying the light of humanity to those who needed it most. Finally, after days of travel, Lyra guided the ship toward a distant planet that seemed dim and exhausted. "This is close to my home," she said. "It will be our next challenge. You will see what the illness has done firsthand. And there, your human warmth will truly be tested." Ethan took a deep breath, feeling a mixture of fear and anticipation. He knew the journey ahead would be difficult, but he also knew he was not alone. With Lyra by his side and the strength of humanity within him, he was ready to face whatever awaited. As the ship descended toward the shadowed planet, Ethan felt something new. Hope. Not just for Elindra, not just for Lyra, but for himself and the universe. He was discovering that humans in their ordinary ways carried extraordinary power, and for the first time he understood that courage, warmth, and heart could travel across the stars, changing worlds in ways no one had imagined. Ethan looked at Lyra. "Let's do this," he said firmly. She nodded, her glow brightening. "Together, human, we will bring life back." And so, as the shadowed planet grew beneath them, Ethan knew that the true adventure had only just begun. Ethan's heart raced as the ship touched down on the dim, shadowed planet near Elindra. The surface was cold and the air felt heavy, almost lifeless. Unlike the vibrant worlds he had seen during his journey, this place seemed drained of energy. Trees were thin and brittle, rivers barely moved, and a faint gray mist hung over the landscape. Even the sun, pale and weak, struggled to shine through the haze. Lyra led Ethan through the landing area, explaining the severity of the situation. "This is one of the outer regions closest to Elindra," she said quietly. "The illness spreads quickly. Many of my people live here, but they are growing weaker. Your warmth can help, but it will not be easy. You must focus, human. Show them courage, patience, and care. That is what heals more than energy alone." Ethan nodded, though a little fear lingered in his chest. He had already traveled to strange worlds and faced alien threats, but nothing had prepared him for this. The sadness in the air was almost physical, and he felt a pang of helplessness. Their first encounter was with a small group of Elindrans, huddled together near a fading fountain. Their skin was dull and their movements were slow. They watched Ethan cautiously, unsure of the human who had arrived with the princess. "Greetings," Lyra said softly. "This is Ethan. He has come to help you. He carries a warmth that can restore life to our world." The Elindrans exchanged glances. Some murmured quietly, skeptical of a human's power. Others looked at Ethan with faint hope, a flicker of curiosity shining through their fear. Ethan took a deep breath, remembering what Lyra had said. Actions speak louder than words. He stepped forward slowly, placing his hands near one of the trembling Elindrans, not touching, but close enough to let them feel his presence. He focused on calmness, on hope, on the simple warmth of being human. A faint glow seemed to radiate from him, subtle but comforting. The Elindran nearest him gasped softly, leaning toward the warmth. Others followed, tentatively reaching toward him. Ethan smiled gently. "It's okay," he said. "You're safe. I'm here to help." Lyra watched quietly, her glowing eyes filled with pride. "You see?" she whispered. "Even the smallest gesture of warmth can awaken hope." Over the next hours, Ethan moved among the Elindrans, helping them stand. showing simple ways to restore energy and life. He shared stories of Earth, sunsets, laughter, and moments of friendship. Somehow these simple human experiences, even just spoken aloud, seemed to resonate with the alien listeners. They began to lift their heads, speak softly, and move more freely. But healing the planet required more than gestures. Lyra guided Ethan toward the planet's energy conduits, streams of pure life energy that had once pulsed brightly across the world. Now they were dim, sluggish, and nearly frozen. "You must connect with them," Lyra explained. "Your warmth must flow into the planet itself. It is not easy, and it will test your focus and courage." Ethan nodded, swallowing his fear. He had never imagined that simply being himself could hold such power. But now he realized that humans carried something extraordinary: hope, courage, and the ability to inspire life. The first attempt was difficult. Ethan placed his hands near the nearest conduit, concentrating. The energy was faint, almost cold, and for a moment he felt his own strength faltering. Doubt crept in. "Am I doing it wrong?" he whispered. Lyra placed a hand on his shoulder. "No, human. Trust yourself. Feel your warmth not as heat alone, but as courage, empathy, and hope. That is what the planet needs." Ethan closed his eyes and focused on the memories that made him feel alive. Laughing with friends, feeling the sun on his skin, the comfort of family and home. Slowly a warmth began to spread outward from him, gentle but steady. The energy conduit near his hands began to pulse faintly, glowing like a tiny heartbeat. A ripple ran through the planet. Trees lifted slightly, rivers shimmered faintly, and the gray mist thinned in some areas. The Alyndrans gasped and stepped closer, sensing the change. Encouraged, Ethan moved to other conduits, carefully spreading his warmth. Each pulse brought life back to the world in small ways. Tiny flowers began to bloom, streams sparkled with renewed energy, and the creatures of the land moved more freely. But as they worked, political tension arose among the Alyndrans. Some leaders approached Lyra, skeptical of a human's ability to save their world. "How can we trust him?" one demanded. "He is not of our kind. What if his presence drains us instead?" Lyra answered firmly. "Humans are different, yes, but that is why they are needed. Ethan's warmth does not harm. It restores. It is not magic or technology. It is the strength of heart and spirit. If we allow fear to guide us, our world will die." Ethan overheard the conversation and felt nervous. He had no idea how to convince an entire species of his intentions. But as he looked at the weak Alyndrans struggling nearby, he understood. Action spoke louder than words. He needed to continue helping no matter what they thought. The next challenge was greater than anything he had faced. The energy conduits were connected to the planet's core, a vast pulsing heart of life that had almost stopped. To restore it, Ethan would have to extend his warmth in a continuous flow, focusing all his energy and will. Lyra guided him to the central chamber, a massive crystalline structure glowing faintly in the dim light. "This is the core," she said. "You must channel your warmth here. It will be difficult, but you are ready. Trust yourself, human." Ethan stepped forward, placing his hands on the crystalline surface. He closed his eyes, focusing on every memory, every feeling of courage and hope he had experienced in his life. He imagined his friends and family, the sun on his skin, the laughter and kindness he had known. Slowly, the warmth spread from him into the crystal. At first, the response was weak. The light barely shimmered. Doubt crept in. Ethan's arms began to ache as he pushed harder, summoning every ounce of energy, every flicker of hope. He remembered Lyra's words: courage, empathy, patience. Not just physical warmth, but heart. A sudden pulse ran through the chamber. The crystal glowed brighter, then brighter still, sending waves of light through the planet. Ethan felt the warmth return to him, stronger than before, and he knew it was working. The core responded to his courage and humanity. Outside, Alyndra began to change. The dim rivers shimmered, forests lifted, and creatures moved more freely. The Alyndrans gathered, watching in awe as life slowly returned. Even the skeptical leaders began to step closer, seeing the results with their own eyes. Ethan could feel the strain, but he continued, focusing on every small detail. The energy flowed through him, connecting him to the planet in a way he had never imagined possible. For the first time, he truly understood the strength of humanity, not in technology or weapons, but in courage, empathy, and the simple act of caring. Hours passed, or perhaps minutes. Time seemed to stretch as Ethan poured his warmth into the planet. Finally, the core pulsed with steady light, brighter and more vibrant than it had been in decades. Elindra's surface glowed with life, the mist lifting, rivers sparkling, and trees swaying gently. The creatures moved freely and the Elindrans cheered softly, awe and gratitude shining in their eyes. Lyra stepped forward, her eyes shining brighter than ever. "You did it, Ethan. You saved this part of our world. You have proven that humans carry something extraordinary, a power beyond measure, the warmth of heart and spirit." Ethan smiled, exhausted but fulfilled. I just did what I could," he said. "I didn't know if it would be enough." Lyra shook her head. "It was more than enough. You reminded my people of hope and strength. That is a gift few can give." As the Elindrans celebrated and began to recover, Ethan realized something important. This journey was not just about saving a planet. It was about discovering that humans had the power to make a difference anywhere in the universe. Their courage, kindness, and warmth could inspire life, even in the darkest places. Ethan looked at Lyra. "What happens next?" he asked. Lyra smiled, her glow gentle but determined. "Next we face the heart of Elindra. The illness there is stronger, older, and more dangerous. But you are ready, human. Together we can restore it completely." Ethan nodded, feeling a new confidence. He had learned that warmth was not just heat, it was courage, hope, and empathy. And with those gifts, he could face any challenge. As night fell over the restored lands of this region, Ethan felt a sense of connection unlike anything he had known. He was no longer just a boy from a small town on Earth. He was part of something greater, a bridge between worlds carrying the power of humanity to heal and inspire. And as he stood beside Lyra, watching the lights of Elindra begin to shine again, he knew that the final challenge, the heart of the planet, would test him in ways he had never imagined. But he also knew one thing: he would not fail. Humanity's warmth had reached across the stars, and it was stronger than any shadow. Ethan and Lyra stood at the edge of Elindra's central city, looking toward the heart of the planet. It was a place few outsiders had ever seen. A massive crystalline structure rose from the ground, glowing faintly with the last remnants of life energy. The core of the planet pulsed weakly, like the heartbeat of someone very ill. Shadows stretched across the land, and the air was thick with the planet's fatigue. "This is it," Lyra said softly, her voice steady but tinged with worry. "The heart of Elindra. If it dies, our entire world could fade. Your warmth must reach it fully, Ethan. This is the moment we have been preparing for." Ethan swallowed, feeling a mix of fear and determination. He had already helped the outer regions, but this was different. This was the source of the illness, the deepest part of the planet. Every ounce of his courage, hope, and humanity would be tested. "I'm ready," he said, though his voice trembled slightly. Lyra took his hand and led him to a platform at the base of the crystalline core. The structure shimmered with faint colors, but the glow was weak, flickering as if struggling to survive. "Focus, Ethan," she said. "Your warmth is not just energy. It is courage, kindness, and hope. It is what humans carry naturally. Let it flow into the planet." Ethan closed his eyes, drawing in a deep breath. He thought of his life on Earth, of his family, friends, the sun, laughter, and the simple moments of joy he had once taken for granted. He thought of the Elindrans, weak and fearful, hoping for life. And he thought of Lyra, brave and glowing, trusting him completely. Slowly, he extended his hands toward the crystalline core. A warmth began to radiate from him, gentle at first, then steadily stronger. The core pulsed in response, a faint heartbeat that grew brighter with each passing moment. Ethan felt energy flow through him, a connection to the planet itself. But it was not easy. The shadows surrounding the core fought back. Dark pulses of energy surged, testing his focus and courage. Doubt threatened to creep in. I'm not strong enough," Ethan whispered, though he did not step back. Lyra's voice rang in his mind, steady and calm. "You are enough, human. Trust yourself. The warmth you carry is more powerful than you know. It can restore life if you believe." Ethan took another deep breath, summoning every memory, every feeling of hope and love. He focused not just on warmth, but on courage, empathy, and determination. Slowly, the dark pulses weakened, retreating as his light grew stronger. The crystalline core began to glow steadily, radiating energy outward in waves of bright, comforting light. Outside the chamber, Elindra's landscape began to transform. The gray mist lifted entirely, Rivers sparkled like liquid silver and forests swayed gently as if breathing. Animals that had been weak and lethargic now moved freely, playful and curious. Elindrans gathered, feeling the energy flow through the land, their faces lighting up with awe and hope. But the challenge was not over. The deeper layers of the core were still struggling, and the planet's pulse remained uneven. Ethan felt exhaustion creeping into his body, every muscle and thought pushing to maintain the flow of warmth. He could falter at any moment, yet he held firm. He focused on the lives depending on him, on the beauty of Elindra and on the trust Lyra had placed in him. A sudden surge of energy shot through the core, shaking the platform beneath him. Ethan nearly fell, but Lyra steadied him, her glowing hand steadying his own.
"You are doing it," she said.
"Keep going. The planet is responding. You are stronger than you realize." Ethan's vision blurred from the intensity of the energy, but he pressed on. He imagined the people of Elindra, imagining them healthy and strong again. He imagined the sky bright with color, the forests vibrant and full of life. And slowly, very slowly, the crystalline core pulsed in perfect rhythm, radiating steady warmth across the entire planet. A wave of relief swept through Ethan. He could feel Elindra's energy stabilizing, flowing freely through the rivers, forests, and cities. The faint colors of the planet intensified, glowing like a sunrise across every corner of the land. Elindra was healing. The Elindrans cheered softly at first, then louder as they saw the transformation. Even the most skeptical leaders stepped forward, witnessing the power of human warmth firsthand. They bowed to Ethan, gratitude and respect in their eyes. Lyra stood beside him, her glow brighter than ever, pride shining on her face. "You did it, Ethan," she said. "You have saved Elindra. Your courage, kindness, and humanity restored life to our world. You have shown what humans are truly capable of." Ethan smiled, exhausted but proud. I just tried my best," he said. "I didn't know if it would be enough." Lyra shook her head. "It was more than enough. You reminded my people of hope and strength. That is a gift few can give. You are extraordinary human, not because of power, but because of heart." As the Elindrans celebrated, Ethan realized the full meaning of Lyra's words. Humans had something unique, the ability to inspire life, courage, and hope wherever they went. It was not weapons or technology, but something far stronger, the human spirit. Days passed as Elindra fully recovered. The rivers flowed freely, forests thrived, and cities sparkled under the twin moons. The Elindrans, once weak and fearful, moved with strength and confidence. They rebuilt their homes and celebrated life, grateful for the gift that Ethan and Lyra had given them. Ethan also learned from Lyra about Elindra's history and culture. He shared stories of Earth, teaching them about humans' creativity, empathy, and courage. The Elindrans listened eagerly, fascinated by a species so ordinary yet capable of extraordinary impact. During this time, Ethan and Lyra grew closer, not in romance, but in trust and friendship. They had faced danger, challenges, and uncertainty together. They shared moments of laughter, wonder, and discovery. Ethan realized that connection and trust were also a form of warmth, one that could heal both people and planets. Finally, the day came when Ethan knew his journey was ending. The central city glowed with renewed energy, and the Elindrans thrived. Lyra approached him, her glowing form radiant. "Ethan," she said softly, "your work here is complete. You have proven that humans can carry warmth across the stars. You have saved Elindra, and you have reminded my people of hope. For that we are forever grateful." Ethan smiled, feeling a mix of pride and sadness. "I've learned so much," he said. "Not just about you or Elindra, but about humans too. We really do have a kind of power, don't we?" Lyra nodded. "Yes, human. A power that is rare and precious. You carry it naturally, and now you have shared it with the universe." As a farewell, Lyra extended an invitation. "You may return to Earth, but know this. Humans are always welcome on Elindra. Your warmth has become part of our world. You will always have a place among us." Ethan felt a swell of pride and gratitude. He had started as a boy from a small town, unsure of his place in the universe. Now he was someone who had touched the lives of an entire species, showing them the strength and beauty of humanity. The ship lifted off, carrying Ethan back to Earth. As he looked down at Elindra, glowing and vibrant below, he realized something extraordinary. The universe was full of challenges, shadows, and fear, but it was also full of hope, courage, and life. Humans, in their ordinary ways, had the power to make extraordinary differences. Ethan returned home to his quiet town, but he was forever changed. The stars no longer seemed distant, they were part of him, part of humanity's connection to the universe. He had learned that warmth, courage, and heart could travel across the stars, heal worlds, and inspire life. And somewhere, far away, Elindra thrived, a shining example of what humans could achieve simply by being themselves. Ethan looked up at the night sky and smiled. He knew that adventures awaited, that challenges and wonders would always appear. But he also knew this truth. Humanity's greatest strength was not strength alone, but warmth, courage, and the heart to care, and with that, Ethan whispered to the stars. "We are ready." The stars twinkled back as if agreeing.